Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. We're looking at some X-Men shit. I've been looking at a lot of X-Men, a lot of Marvel stuff. Trust me, I will get to some DC and some other stuff, but I was just going through some comics and I just found some issues that I had that I wanted to do. So I'm just going to get through some of these. My channel, the purpose that I wanted to do was to have videos that are a little bit longer, that tell a complete story of a graphic novel or whatever. And I will get back to that. But I got some time off and I found some single issues that I wanted to do. So I'm just pumping out these videos while I got the time off. So, X-Men. This is issue number 50. This is in that time. Cool Gate, like double cover. Image guys had left and X-Men were making a name for themselves with other artists. Andy Kubert, Adam Kubert, Joe Madureira, those were the main ones. Chris Bachalo, he was doing Generation X. So Andy Kubert, we're going to talk a little bit about him. He's kind of a hit and miss for me with his art. Sometimes it looks really cool and dynamic. Sometimes it looks really strange and out of proportion, weird anatomy and stuff like that. He's done some really good stuff. I think his stuff in Origins, the Wolverine origin, was really good. And but he was good. He was good enough. He was good enough for me to read back in the day. So where are we at in the story now with X-Men number 50? Where we are is it's past the Age of Apocalypse, and they are leading up to Onslaught, which I am going to get to because I have X-Men Onslaught that I want to do. So keep an eye out for that in probably the next couple of days. But pretty much the first issue of Uncanny X-Men, I remember after Age of Apocalypse, when they come back into the Prime 616 world, there was an issue with Juggernaut, and he had been beat down and flung halfway across the country, and he landed, and he couldn't remember who or how or why that happened. He just remembers one thing, and he said one word was Onslaught. And you're like, who the fuck is that? New villain. Okay. So they were leading up to Onslaught for a long time. Little hints here and there. So you think in X-Men's 50, he would finally be revealed in a big anniversary issue. But no, this is the Herald of Onslaught, and his name is Post. I mean, kind of a dumb name. I have no idea why they thought that was good. Maybe it makes sense, but to me it doesn't. So you get to meet the Herald of Onslaught. Okay, why not? This thing with Cyclops here, this piece of work is just fucking amazing. It's so good. The shadows, the shading on the muscles and everything, and I mean it's kind of weird. Like, I was always kind of confused by his optic blast. Like his optic blasts are coming out. They're not in full force, even though his eyes are open, and they're kind of sputtering out. And for a long time I thought, like, what is this light? I thought this was smoke, and like he was going in and out of the smoke, but that's not true. I think that's weird lightning in the background. That makes more sense. So his powers are apparently not doing very well. So you got some monologue here. I call him Cyclops. This is probably Professor X monologuing here. X-Men comics, they have so much like random words on there that's just like probably unnecessary to the story, but whatever. So Cyclops hung upside down. That's really, really cool. The more I look at it. They're talking about Cyclops, how like cool he is here, you know, Scott Summers. And more words. He's talking about an X-Man. They're like me. He's a mutant and he's fighting for a better place for all of us. Yeah, just same old X-Men shit, right? But so Cyclops is back here, Iceman, something going on with him, Storm here. So you're already like, what the fuck is going on? Where are these guys? How did they get there? Why are they look like they're all fucked up? But he's like, I've trained them to be prepared. Again, this must be Professor X. So Storm goes into her thoughts, and she feels a rib has been broken, ankle twisted, but she cannot remember how she got these injuries. So she uses her powers. She flies over there. She uses the wind to get him down, but she's like, are you okay? Make sure you keep your eyes closed because you'll fuck me up. He's like, where's my visor? And I have no idea. So he's blind. He can't open his eyes. He's not going to be very much of help with whatever's going on. And Wolverine's here too. But before that, she's telling him Iceman is here. There's 3 of us. She's like, and amidst this starless sky, I am unable to say exactly where our location is. And Wolverine's like, yep, but that doesn't matter. He's like, I wasn't even at the Xavier Institute when I was ambushed by who knows what. So I think Wolverine, at this point, he's lost his adamantium. So he was not even with the X-Men. He went off on his own. And then he's like, the big question is, how did we come by all these injuries and we don't even remember? It's like we've been chewed up and spit out by something, or more likely somebody. And so they go over and check on Iceman, and they roll him over. And I skip a page. And his chest is like, he's in his ice form, but his chest has been shattered. And I guess that must be like melted ice there. But he's still alive. He's still breathing. So Wolverine's like, so that means whatever attacked us wants us alive for now. That's a cool shot of Iceman there. Down shot of all these guys. So far, art so good, with Andy Kubert. So, gets back to the X Mansion, Professor X, and he's like, I'm Professor Charles Xavier. Yeah, we fucking gets that. But then Gateway is here, just inside his bedroom. But Gateway never talks, but he's always been helpful. And he's whirling around his whirligig. And he's like, I need you to stop. I need you to answer me, or I'm going to have to take the steps to dissuade you from doing whatever you're doing. He's like, I don't receive an answer. I didn't expect one. And he's like, he's never been able to pierce his mind. I like that shading on his bald skull. Bald head. Bishop comes in like a fucking lunatic, just shooting. Because he's like, the mansion security has identified unauthorized presence and sudden disappearance of several key residents. And he thought like Gateway was there to do the same thing. So Bishop was ready to fuck up Gateway here. But he shoots at him, but it just bounces off his little whirligig or whatever it's called and shoots back at him. And he's like, yeah, until I finish this sentence, tells what's going on. This is kind of weird. Like, he's going to fall. He's leaning back. Is he going to fall back? Those are some tight muscles. He's got an 8-pack going on there. And all those, what do you call those muscles? I forget. Xavier's like, kind of calm down, Bishop. If he did send the X-Men away here, our only option is to allow us to take allow him to take us there as well. And Bishop's like, that's fucking stupid. All due respect. And then somebody comes in and, zaps Gateway there. A telekinetic blast from sexy-ass Jean Grey. Again, as a young man, I always very much enjoyed this drawing. Okay, so she comes in. She's floating above. And they're just talking about the situation. Not much else, right? Like, people are gone. Gateway's here. What is going on? So, Iceman is awake, but he's fucking freaking out because he has a fucking hole in his chest, like I would. Oh my god. Kaylee! Fucking dog every time the mailman comes by. Anyways, Cyclops, down angle. That's pretty good, pretty solid to me. And it's like, basically, try to stay calm. We'll get out of this. We'll put together the clues. We'll figure out what's going on. We'll work as a team. And Cyclops is thinking to himself. He's like, even though I keep telling him to stay calm, I'm like super worried inside. And he's like, now I have to wonder why all this feels so familiar. So you got Wolverine and Storm. They're scouting out the area. They're in some forest, but there's no stars. And Wolverine, he's just like, I don't feel right. This feels weird. I want to rip off my skin. This whole place feels dead. My enhanced senses aren't pegging anything alive for miles. No animals, no creatures, nothing around. And Storm's saying the same thing. He's like, even though it still responds to my command, the wind is still. It's just like, doesn't have life to it, it seems. And he says, ever since Magneto tore out my adamantium skeleton, my senses have been operating at full throttle. His healing factory isn't working great, but his senses are, pretty sharp. And so he's like, someone's trying really hard not to be found. He just fucking lunges at Storm suddenly. And she's like, what the fuck? He's like, again, he says all this, but I'm not that crazy yet. I was jumping at somebody behind you, and there's somebody, like he's being levitated or what? And Wolverine's saying, like, there's an invisible guy right here. Like, someone is watching us, and he's invisible. He's holding Wolverine up high. So, even though she can't see, she knows where Wolverine is and being held, so she, like, gusts up some wind, and he's like, okay, like, I'll take some of the heat. You hit him high, I'll hit him low, and we'll take out this fucker. And here he is. Post. Well, he's saying Onslaught is impressed. You disable my cloaking device. She's like, Onslaught, you're the same guy that fucked up Juggernaut. Wolverine's like, don't look like much to me. This is, pretty cool double-page splash. But he's like, no, I am not Onslaught. I was just referring to him. I'm transmitting the results. So he's got some cameras, or he must be looking at him through his eyes. And you can see this monitor right here as he's holding them. So he's transmitting all this information to Onslaught wherever he is. And he's like, my name is Post because my creator hates me and he gave me a dumbass fucking name. But enough about me. Let the analysis continue. He basically throws Wolverine at her and he disappears again. They're alive. They're ready for round 2. But he teleported away. And Wolverine's like, doesn't matter. He finds us, we find him. It's not over till it's over. So, X-Men are trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. So they contact Banshee with Generation X. And he's like, I cannot shed any light on Gateway's actions. And as I've said, he did teleport Chamber away without a word, but just as quickly dumped the boy back in the front yard. So, while this was going on, Gateway, Jesus, picked up a Chamber from Generation X, who's a telepath. Took him away, but then dropped him, and still no word about what's going on. So, 4 people are gone. They're trying to figure out what's going on. So X-Men all geared up. Gateway's still doing nothing. They still don't know what's going on. And then there's so sudden is the mental assault, there's simply no defense against it. Jean and Professor X are being mentally assaulted by, I guess, a telepath. And even though we're not immediately able to tell them, I sense Gambit and Bishop instinctively realize the truth, that their powers matter little against a being of pure psionic energy. So there's some kind of face here of psionic and telepathic energy. So weird mystery, right? So Wolverine, Cyclops, Iceman, they come through. They find Wolverine, Storm. They kind of tell him what had happened. And Wolverine's like, yeah, he was testing us. And Cyclops says, perfect. But you see someone is behind him and says, perfect. How inappropriate a response. So Post is still, posting comments to Onslaught on social media. And Wolverine's like, perfect? What the fuck are you talking about? And he's like, think about it. God damn it, Rusty. I know, but just lay down right there. Yes, thank you. Think about the hours at the danger room, all the training we've done, battling opponents without discernible faces, without motives. He's like, oh, I get it. So he made a mistake. He gave us something to fight, even without meaning to. And Wolverine's like, you're both fucking stupid. And Cyclops is like, yeah, we were 2 of the original students. We've never failed a test. And Post is still like, this is weird. Maybe I've miscalculating weapon systems online. And then Cyclops is like, okay, Wolverine, are you coming or not? And he's like, what are you talking about? You can't even see. You're walking right into a fucking tree. And he grabs onto Cyclops right there, right? He just backhands him and goes fucking flying. You're not that fucking strong, Cyclops. I get it. It's a comic book. He's like, don't touch me, you filthy little animal. And like, Storm's like, what the fuck is your problem? So she, tries to restrain him, like, calm down. He's telling him to back off. And then Iceman wants to get in on it. And he's like, you hurt him. Don't make me hurt you. And he puts his arms into little icicle blades. He's about ready to fuck her up. So Post back here, Wolverine slumped over. That's kind of funny. Weapon system delay. He's like, apparently the tension's getting to them. They might terminate themselves. This is like he's curious about like what they're going to do. And then she's like, I'm not the one who needs to be aware. She's going to like take off his blindfold. He's like, you're going to release my optic blast. And she says, just as we planned, Cyclops. And so they took him by surprise somehow. I don't know how they knew where he was, but they all like hit him at once with her lightning. He's zapping him here. He's icicling him. By channeling all 3 of our powers in one direction, big enough to accommodate Post, looks like our unspoken gamble paid off. So they, did teamwork. They figured out where he was somehow, and, they were able to hurt him. Good job. So they're like, he's hurt, he's down, and like, don't take any chances, put him in ice. But Wolverine's like, I knew it, he's sniffing something. He's like, everybody down, because he was just playing possum or something. He wasn't really hurt that much. So he starts shooting at them, some fucking lava or whatever this is. Let's see. You children do not seem to grasp the extent on which you are being tested. Rusty's right here. Hey, buddy. Thank you for being out of the picture. Physically, yes, it is a simple matter to push you through your well past your genetic limitations, but the true test is how you handle your faux victory. Is that how you pronounce that? F-A-U-X, faux, fa, whatever. As well as your more realistic defeat. So he's like, he wants this, he's testing them in a bunch of different ways. So, let's see, he's using your own power to conduct the heat backlash. Thanks for telling us that, Wolverine. So he kind of takes out Iceman really quick. And it looks like the heat, since it hits Iceman, it kind of like melts him a little bit. So Storm has to like throw up a blizzard to keep him alive, to keep him in ice. But then he, Post has some ice of his own, I guess, or picks up some, and he throws it and knocks her right in the face. So Cyclops, he knows, he's blasting. Wolverine's going at him with his fucking bone claws. So then it goes back to the X-Mansion. Beast is all happy. He's like, I've come up with something. The X-Men abducted are being tested, and then Cannonball, he's part of the X-Men right now. He's like, yeah, we figured that out. It's like, how did you come to this conclusion on your own? He says 3 of the 4 hand-plucked compatriots were energy manipulators, with Wolverine presumably being tossed in for a tactile and sensory response and contrast. I think the writer just wanted to put those 4 in there. This makes no sense. Gambit's a fucking energy manipulator. And then throwing Wolverine in there for random shit. Let's see. He's talking about Onslaught, and if he's so powerful, he should have been able to storm the mansion and take each and every one of us at his leisure, unless he took them to a place that has something to do with the source of his power. What? How did you figure that out? I don't know. So this is a cool shot. It goes back to them fighting Post. And he's basically talking about the relationship between Cyclops and Wolverine. 2 sides of the same coin, night to each other's day. Savage, like Wolverine the savage, undisciplined. Cyclops the blind, the obedient. He's like, wouldn't it be interesting if I forced you to kill each other now? A little bit more pressure be enough to open your eyes, Summers, to pulverize Logan once and for all. How would that kill him, though? It would just kill Wolverine, I guess. But that's a cool piece of art. So Storm is back up and at him. Let's see. And she's, I don't know what is going on here. This is weird. She's like, do you feel that? Is the Mother Earth, Robert? Yeah, Robert. Let's see. He says he's in complete control of the environment. It should not be reacting this way, but it is. Why? She's like, lash out at everything around you, Iceman. He's like, am I missing something? Yeah, we're all wondering that. Rusty, come on, dude. Just for once. I know it's cute and people may like it, but goddamn, dude. The environment is reacting to Post and he to it. How? Why? What? What happened here? Why is he yelling no? Oh, he's yelling no. So yeah, he's getting hit by Storm and her lightning. He's fighting back. He shoots at her. And he's basically saying you were created for one purpose, but that it is clear you are no longer needed. And then Iceman is battling to him. He's keeping him talking. Oh boy. I mean, it's a cool comic, but like some of the writing is just like, what are you talking about? How did we get from point A to point B? So, Beast is still trying to figure out what they're going on. Final analysis, people, our unseen adversaries' motives become clear. Despite Gateway's best efforts to deliver Chamber to him, the entity did not want any psionics on hand to detect him, even one as raw as Chamber. So that's why they, they dumped, he took Chamber and then dumped him. Is he working for Onslaught? I guess. And then they're like, what are you talking about? Can you put it in English? He's like, I further propose that they were taken to a specific place, a place that, as Bishop noted, is somehow key to the entity's power source. Again, why did we figure this out? I don't know. And then he's like, can you tell us, are we getting warmer or cooler? Whatever. So back to the fight. They're fighting. Storm's kicking up some wind. It's, Wolverine's trying to hold on to Cyclops, putting his fists and claws into the ground for anchoring them. And then Cyclops is like, I need one blast up close. Can you get us close enough? So Wolverine's like, no problem. And so he slashes at him to open up a hole. And then Cyclops is there, and he just shoots right into inside post. More words from Professor X. And he goes kablooey. Kaboom. And then they're suddenly back. And they all drop in. And they tell him, like, oh, this is a guy named Post. He teleported us back to we got teleported back to here when we zapped him. And they're like, who's that? Somebody, this asshole. So then this fucking entity is talking to Gateway. You assured me these creatures were ready, that they would hold the last line of defense against the coming. What? Okay, so now this thing is talking. You were wrong. They did survive, and their performance was perfunctory at best. As Post explained, X-Men, he was but the lowest of Onslaught's emissaries, so prepare yourselves for the inevitable. The Onslaught is coming. There is no power on this earth or any other capable of stopping it. No one, Homo sapien, superior or otherwise, can turn back the Onslaught. So who the fuck is this guy? I mean, I know like who Onslaught is and what's going on with him. All right, so then it just ends on like it's drama, cliffhanger. Everyone's worried about what's going to happen. So there you go, X-Men number 50. Pardon. As they built up to Onslaught, I was really into the story and the mystery of what was going on. If you know who Onslaught actually is, I remember figuring it out before it was revealed in the comics. I'm like, I think it's this person, and it ended up being that person. So what is going on with this weird psionic energy person? I have no idea what that is all about. Does anybody else know? Can anybody explain it to me? So that was kind of the beginning of Onslaught. Cool stuff. I like Andy Kubert's art. The story is a little weird, but it kind of did set up a mystery, and the tension for what was to come was really there, and I couldn't wait for each issue. So what do you think of this? What do you think about the Onslaught comics? I got a couple more I'm going to do. I probably won't do the whole storyline, though, because I don't think I have all of it. Because some of the issues were kind of stupid. Not stupid, just the art was hard to get into, and it encompassed the whole Marvel universe at one point. It should have just stayed within the X-Men for the most part. Anyways, so that's it. I'm going to end this video here, and we'll get into another one. So thank you for watching.